June each year is World Environment Day and is usually marked by activities ranging from tree planting and workshops to art competitions depicting the importance of nature and the environment on our well-being. These were observances in pre-COVIDian times. This year, however, World Environment Day was marked by speeches made remotely over video conference. These are days when gathering is inadvisable. They are also days when, of a sudden, many are hearkening back to the nature-related activities of yore, be they cultivating fields left fallow, creating vegetable garden patches, noticing for the first time the twitter of birds and the joy of them flying into our homes through an open window. For many, it is a means to pass time. We may or may not have experienced the need to change our lives to be more in tune with nature. I hope we all will. However, not enough remorse may have set in for the evils we have wrought upon nature. While many are viewing this time as a respite from otherwise hectic lives and environs, the constantly turning wheels of industry and government machinery have enabled the infliction of more ravages in the name of development. 3 projects have been proposed in the Bhagwan Mahavir Wildlife Sanctuary and the Mollem National Park. In April 2020, in the middle of India's lockdown due to the life-threatening COVID-19 pandemic, the National Board for Wildlife cleared or discussed over a video call more than 30 forest clearance proposals. From this list, 3 projects were from Bhagwan Mahavir Wildlife Sanctuary and Mollem National Park, and 2 have been cleared during the pandemic. The immediately visible impact of the 3 projects can be summarized thus. They require a clearing of 250 hectares of forest land and the felling of 59,000 trees. The following is an appeal from those who comprehend that the value of Goa's intact protected area is far greater than one which is interrupted by planned infrastructural projects. In a letter to the Ministry of Environment, Forests and Climate Change regarding the diversion of forest land in Goa's Bhagwan Mahavir Wildlife Sanctuary and Mollem National Park, a group of researchers, climate specialists and allied professionals called to attention the impact of the projects on larger ecosystem services and functions. The letter reminded the Ministry that India is a party to the Convention on Biological Diversity and has committed to fulfilling obligations towards its biodiversity. Nature has multiple values based on differing perceptions, and it is simplest to envision the value in economic terms, said researcher Ritika Fernandez. In 2013, the Indian government commissioned a study to estimate the net present value per hectare. They found that estimates ranged between 13.5 to 43.3 lakh rupees per hectare for tropical, wet, evergreen, semi-evergreen and moist deciduous forests in the Western Ghats. We must remember that these were estimates from 7 years ago. Present estimates will be much higher, especially in the context of public health and preventing pandemics, Fernandez added. Provisional, regulating, supporting and cultural services are the many categories of ecosystem services that forests like the Bhagwan Mahavir Wildlife Sanctuary and the Mollem National Park provide. The signatories state that local residents from the panchayats of Mollem and Kale, within which Goa's Bhagwan Mahavir Wildlife Sanctuary and Mollem National Park fall, will be amongst the first to face the consequences of these projects. residents are still reeling from the degradation caused by mining activities within the two panchayats. Pre-mining, as much as 80% of the agricultural land in Mollem Panchayat was cultivable, they added. Says Shaish Pirankar, a local ecologist and signatory, according to the Millennium Ecosystem Assessment Report in 2005, degradation of ecosystem services is harming many of the world's poorest people and is sometimes the principal factor causing poverty. For many people, especially the poor, living around this protected area, the forest and its surroundings are reservoirs of biodiversity resources for their daily survival and income. They are connected in so many ways to the healthy functioning of this ecosystem. Rohan Chakravarti, a wildlife cartoonist and another signatory on the letter, summarizes. Other than the fact that Mollem and Bhagwan Mahavir Wildlife Sanctuary are central to conservation, life of people, ecotourism and public health in Goa, they could also be home to species of reptiles, frogs and invertebrates that are yet to be discovered, as new discoveries from the Western Ghats year after year have been consistently proven. We owe the forest to those species too, and not just to ourselves. These forests also have important cultural, aesthetic and recreational value. Dudhsagar Falls, Tamli Surla Falls, Devil's Canyon and the 12th century Tamli Surla Temple are major tourist attractions, all dependent on the environment sustained by this protected area as a whole. There are also other smaller ecotourism attractions such as Tiger Falls, Paikyachi Gufa, Kale Dongor and Vagriapet, which bring in a steady source of revenue for locals of Kale Panchayat. Within the two panchayats are also important sacred groves and areas such as Devaspana Zago, Jalman, Piplamal and Ketar Phalachi Rai, and their associated network of springs and streams which are already impacted by mining activities. Further degradation within the surrounding area will have unforeseen consequences on these groves as well. Ignoring these multiple values does not allow for effective and equitable decision-making around nature and its contributions to the lives of people. It is keeping this in mind, we urge that under your leadership, the MOEFCC and the honorable members of the National Board for Wildlife will strongly reconsider these approvals, they concluded. Let World Environment Day not be observed in name only, but may it be an enabler to preserve and empower our environment to survive and thrive to fight another day.